In this video, I'm going to share with you how to make $1 to $5 million per year in profit, not revenue, not even cash collected, in profit, selling info, coaching, consulting services, and how you can really just absolutely print money, okay? Now, why should you listen to me? Well, if you don't know me, I've built multiple seven-figure businesses. I've been doing this for 10 years. So before, while all these gurus were in high school and all of them had braces, I was doing this, okay? And I'm one of the OG disciples of Sam Ovens. I started this, well, really my entrepreneurial journey when I was very young, but really getting into online space when I was like 17, okay? I'm 27, about to be 28, so I've been doing this a long time, okay? I've also made over $6.5 million online doing this stuff. I've sold everything from coaching, consulting, anything you name it, SaaS, okay? I'm just going to break it all down and show you what you need to do, okay? But here's the thing. The problem with most businesses and why they can't achieve this level of profit and do it very lean, right, with a very small team, is because in of itself, the business isn't set up to be profitable and to scale, right? Most of the time, and the problem that happens with most businesses is as you scale, you actually become less efficient. So you have diminishing returns. So if you start going from like 50K a month to 100K a month, your profits usually start to shrink. Or if you go from 100K a month and you try to scale to 300, 400, 500K a month, usually profits start to shrink. And that's natural in any business, but there's a massive, drastic change in profits with certain models, and if you run it and you run the business a certain way, okay? And so what this typically leads to is you hiring too many people. This usually leads into just having too much, just really too much complexity, which also pulls you away from doing the thing you really want to do and living the life you want to live. Like usually what happens, and I've got caught up in this, I know a lot of people that have got caught up in this in the space, is they start adding a bunch of team members, their payroll starts stacking, they start spending a lot of money on ads, and their profits just go shrink, and then some months they break even, some months they lose money. You know, this is what they won't tell you in the space. We've taken L's on a monthly basis. I've made 200K a month and broke even. That's sometimes what happens in this space if you run it with this old model, right? And what this typically leads to, and what most people find, and what I find in this space, is that you have less profits, but then you also kind of become this slave to your own business, right? Where you almost become like an employee inside of your own business, and you're doing it for a slightly above average hourly wage, right? And it's like, man, like I'm building this business, you know, we're doing pretty well. Even if you start getting it to like 30, 40, 50K, you get to 100K a month, it's like, well, I thought this was going to be able to provide me and have me live this certain lifestyle that's been promoted online, and it's usually not the case, right? You're usually more stressed, you usually have less profits, you're making and taking home less money than when you were doing less in revenue and cash, and you're like, why is this so? And I'll tell you why. Because once you get to a certain level, like once you start doing like 10, 20, 30, 50K a month, if you want to get to 100K a month in profit and make it very lean, I'll explain what you need to have in place to do that. But it can be very, very efficient if run properly with the correct model and the correct acquisition sources and the correct back-end delivery mechanism, okay? You need to have those just dialed in, okay? So let's say, as an example, you're making 10 to 30, maybe 50K a month, okay? And I'll give you an example of this, what happened with me, okay? So when I was first running this whole operation and business, you know, going from making $1,500 a month living in my dad's basement to making my first 10K a month to then making 20, 30, 50K a month within a span of like 4 months, it was a drastic, I've talked about this is quantum leap. That was the first quantum leap, getting to like 50K a month in cash, right? In recurring revenue too. And once I got there, in order for me to scale, I had to make the business either hyper efficient, meaning I had the same clients, I had the same exact delivery for every single one of them. There was no other, it was basically just a assembly line, copy paste for every client, even the templates, the ads, all this stuff had to be copy and paste, because if not, it was just so inefficient, right? Because then I had to hire someone to then come up with this, and it would take weeks to then implement and then launch it, all this stuff. So I had to make it extremely efficient. Now, to get it to 50K a month, that's what it needed to happen, right? But I just saw, okay, if I need to do that, okay, I need to hire another copywriter, I need to hire another media buyer because to handle this clients and all this stuff. And then I just saw my profits starting to shrink. And so at that time, I then had to transition into a hybrid model. Okay, and I talk about this hybrid leverage model. I talked about that in my last videos, but I'll explain a little bit. Basically, you take the best of both worlds, the coaching, the info, the done with you, done for you, and the course model, and even SaaS with the recurring revenue. You mix them all into a hybrid model that's very efficient, that can scale. You can acquire a lot of clients. It's very profitable, gives you recurring revenue, and you're not starting from zero every month, and it's extremely efficient, okay? So that's kind of the model that I shifted to. And by doing that, I was able to, one, work less in the business, right? But then I was able to also acquire more clients and be able to scale much more efficiently. So I switched to this model, and within 3 months, boom, I hit 100K a month. Okay, and then I actually think we did more than that, like 120, right? And so then we started scaling and scaling this process up. But again, what happens? You start increasing your team, you start increasing ad spend, profits start to shrink, and so now you're at another dilemma, another problem. So what's the solution here? Okay? Well, it's really what I call the 7-figure model. I mean, I just name it this because I believe this is the most like zen, fulfilling, lean, simple model you can have. Okay? So I'll explain what this is. So now, when you're trying to achieve $1 to $5 million in profit, in order to do that, that's making about 100 to 500K or 100 to like 400K a month in profit. Okay, but you can operate at high 70 to 80% net margins with this model. So it requires you to have this hybrid leverage offer. Now, you need to have that. So if you're in doing one-on-one group coaching, done with you type thing, you need to change. You need to really optimize and use this model. Okay, and you can do it done with you, etc. as a coaching model, group coaching, but you need to do this model. Okay, that's number one. You need to change the model so you can scale by spending less time, getting your clients better results, and being more efficient. So that's number one. The second piece of that is you need to keep things extremely lean. Now, in order to do that, again, you need to have a lean back-end model for you to actually achieve that. And then the second piece is the team. So in order to run a business doing 100K to 500K a month, you really only need a small team to do this. You need basically, I would say, depending on like what your goals are, if you want to get to like 100K a month in profit, you could do it with one sales rep. You absolutely can if you're priced at like 5 to 10K offer front end, and we'll talk about unlocking some profit in the back end as well. But you have that one closer, one great closer. He could, like, I would be doing like a 150 cash collected, 200K a month cash collected myself. So you could easily do that with a sales rep, and him dialed with like just absolutely printing, like, he has to be dialed in. You have to be printing calls on the counter. Okay, so basically you have one, let's say, to 4 sales reps. But I'd say the optimal space for a lot of you, and what I recommend, is you can get to like 3 closers. That's optimal. Okay, you get the 3 sales reps. That's optimal. You don't want to be stuck with one, because if you get sick, you're effed up. And if you get 2, if one goes, 50% of your revenue drops. You want to have 3 reps, and they're all doing really well. That's really where you want to get to. That's like the threshold you want to get to is when you can fill 3 reps calendars with about 5 to 8 calls a day, and as you scale the business. So that's kind of the team, is like 1 to 3 closers. I'd say like 3 closers. You have maybe 1 CSM, client success manager, and that's mainly it. And you could manage that sales team yourself, very simply. You could eventually have someone else, one of the reps, kind of manage them as well, or bring on someone to manage it. But you could be very lean. You could do it with like 5 people or less and make $5 million a year in profit. Okay, you could do this very, very efficiently. So let's just say you wanted to make 100K a month in profit. I would say you probably need you and maybe 2 other people. That's it. Okay, that's really all you need is like 3 people to do this. And so you have basically your offer in your program and this leverage offer, which you have your lean team, 1 to 3 people, right? Then you have an efficient acquisition source. So you're going to be leveraging a mixture between paid and organic. Okay, yeah, can you do it with all organic? Yes, but it's not going to be consistent. And anyone that says, yeah, all organic, the only way you could do all organic is if you're also doing outbound. So like, for example, a lot of what we do is also, and some people coined me the LinkedIn king, is like we use LinkedIn, right? So like LinkedIn still works extremely well to this day, contrary to what everyone's saying. We're printing calls. Like we closed 2 clients yesterday doing that. And we have another 2 clients today that we're probably going to close from LinkedIn. And you just have to do it a certain way, right? And things change and they evolve, and there's a pendulum that swings, and you need to find what works at that period of time. So we know what works. It's more engagement based, works really well using open-ended questions. But anyways, we use LinkedIn. We have multiple accounts on LinkedIn because the way you can scale is 2 ways. You can scale horizontally and you can scale vertically. Horizontally is when you add and you do more horizontal actions. So you add more LinkedIn accounts doing outbound, or some people can even get cold email to work or cold callers to work, but we find LinkedIn to work well for outbound. And then or you have content, right? So if you build a content machine, that's horizontally scaling because you're adding more pieces of content that's getting more reach, more width, right? But you can also scale vertically by spending money on ads. Like you can spend 10K a month on ads, generate 100K a month in cash, pay your team 10% on commissions. That's 20. You're making 80% margins. You're making 80K in profit. You scale that up, you can start making 150, 200K a month in profit doing that. Okay, so you need to have efficient client acquisition sources. So you can use organic content. So what I recommend in today's world, I recommend you spend money on ads. So you do either YouTube or Meta ads to a VSL funnel. Contrary to what everyone's saying, it still works extremely well with pre-selling mechanisms to pre-sell to get inbound calls. So you have a very simple funnel that just printing calls every day. You're also doing organic content. So you're doing YouTube videos, at least 1 to 2 a week, and you're chopping those into clips and you're posting them onto Reels and these other channels, and you're driving them to either your funnel or your YouTube channel or your mechanism to convert people into calls. Okay, that's what's working really well. And then if you wanted to layer on some organic stuff, you don't really even need to do it, but you could do like something like LinkedIn. But if you just if you started with a small budget on ads and you scaled it up, you spend 10K a month on ads. Again, you could start small, $100 a day. Then you start scaling it up to get it up to $500 a day or whatever. Then you could start printing money, and then you have your YouTube videos as your middle of funnel and bottom of funnel conversions to get people to convert. You have testimonials, case studies, client interviews that you post on the channel as well. Those work extremely well. And yeah, you just rinse and repeat those actions. Then you have it's building your email list as well. So it's basically this: you spend basically $100 to $1,000 a day on ads. You could even scale it up further. I mean, at one point we were spending $90 a day, but I think once you get to 30K a month and ad spend, you're printing money. So you're doing basically $100 to $3,000 a day on ad spend, right? Or whatever, $1,000 a day, $100 to $1,000 a day on ad spend. You're putting out 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week. You're chopping those into shorts, and you can content max if you want, but I recommend you just put out 1 to 2 reels a day, every day, driving them to your funnel or driving them to your conversion mechanisms, right? And then you send 3 emails a week to your email list. And you have one very efficient front-end product, or AKA leveraged a hybrid solution, right? Which is your program, which is a hybrid of all the best parts that are going to get your clients great results. And you just feed that, and you just keep getting your clients great results with one product or with one service, one solution. You could do big numbers. Like one of my friends, he took it to $3 million a month with just one offer. Okay. So you don't need to like do anything crazy. You just need to keep and make that machine more efficient. Now, if you want to unlock profit, what I recommend is you have, let's say, like a 90-day type of offer, right, where you help them deliver a specific result and you help them do a specific actions. And then once they get to the end of that, then you can ascend them to the next level. So you solve one part of their problem, and then you help them get to the and solve the next part of the problem. And a portion of the clients that you require, let's say you're acquiring 20 clients a month, or even let's say 10 clients a month, and you're charging 5K, right? Well, you do that every month, right? And then a portion of those, let's say 20 clients because it's 100K a month, right? So 20 clients a month. And then a portion of those, let's say 20% of those, so let's say 5 of them ascend to a backend that's, let's say 20 or 30K, you're unlocking a lot of profit there. That's another 100, 150K in profit that you're unlocking from the backend revenue, right? Of the clients that are already getting good results, they already know, like, and trust you, and you can ascend them to your backend. So that's what I would recommend if you want to make a large amounts of profit, because if you look at that, you can be making like 100, 150, 200K a month on the front end, and then another 150K in the back end, especially as you get it after 3 months. That's just going to be a rolling profit. And you could do this with one product, right? So you could just have a very efficient, let's say like a 5 to 15K front end offer, and you make that very efficient. You do hybrid leverage solution. You're running paid traffic. You're also doing organic, and you can scale, and you can make a lot of money doing that. And if you're less than that, let's say you're not even let's say you're trying to get to like that, you want to make 10, 20, 30, 50K a month, I recommend what you do there, if you want to get to the place where you can then scale, is you got to be hammering, man. Like, most people don't understand what is actually required to get something off of the ground and make something actually profitable. So like, in that essence, like, you got to be doing outreach. So I recommend you have a few different LinkedIn accounts. You have like 3, 4, 5 LinkedIn accounts, and they're all targeting different like sub niches of the overall niche you want to target. And you got to do the messaging right, obviously, but you can get that off the ground with just LinkedIn, and then you do organic content. You still post 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week. You chop those into clips. You drive them into VSL, into your YouTube channel. And that's what works, man. Like, it sounds simple, but it's what most people aren't willing to do. But it's what works. And then if you just execute on that, like, I don't see how you can't be printing money in this space. You know what I mean? So if you're selling info, coaching, consulting, this is what I recommend. If you want to make $1 to $5 million a year in profit, not cash, not revenue, profit, and take that home and operate at 70, 80, 90% net margins, that's what I recommend. And you also have the recurring element to it. So going back to our example, let's say your offer's 10K. If you did 3K or 3,500 a month for 3 months, you sign 10 clients a month. After 3 months, that's 35K. Now that's 70K. 70K. And then boom, that's over 100K a month in 3 months, because you're just acquiring 10 clients a month at $3,500 a month, and you're stacking it. It's very efficient. And then at the end of their term of the 90 days, then you basically say, look, to take things to the next level, we can continue. And you can do what Hermosi said, downsell the upsell. You can say, okay, instead of $3,500 a month, it's only $2,500 a month for 12 months. And then boom, you can sell them into your next thing. And then, or they can pay in full, right? And you can unlock some nice cash flow from that. But you can convert a portion of the front end revenue. Let's say out of those 30 clients, let's say you're converting, again, 25% of them or 20% of them, you can generate, 6 clients into your back end. You're adding and you're stacking up 10, 20, 30, 50K, 100K in profit a month. That's just on the back and just recurring revenue. Obviously, you have to be good at what you do, but that's how you can really print, man. And again, you can do this with one program. I've done it. And, but yeah, this is what works. It sounds simple, but you want to keep things lean, right? You want to have a small, lean team. You want to have a good, efficient systems. You want to have a good solution, hybrid, leverage solution and offer that you can feed into this thing and you can scale. But you need efficient, consistent, predictable client acquisition systems. And I recommend, to this day, a VSL pre-selling mechanism with a paid traffic behind it, and with the good systems in the back end to like nurture and follow up the leads. And then you're doing organic content as well, 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week. And you're also, chopping those into doing short form as well. People will then either get exposure, find you, or you're there for nurturing and bottom of funnel to then get people to convert. And then, on your Instagram stories or whatever, you can hammer people. But honestly, it's very simple. You don't need to overcomplicate this stuff. And that's what I would do if I was you. If I wanted to make at least $1 million a year in profit, all the way up to 5 million plus in profit. Because once you start going beyond that, you're gonna need to hire a big team. You're gonna have to spend a lot of money on different marketing sources and stuff like that. Unless you have just very efficient acquisition sources like a big audience or something like this. But take this, run with it. Again, if you're less than 50K a month, I would say you could stick to organic. If you're less than let's say 15K a month, I would stick to organic. If you're doing between 10 to 15, 20K, 30K, 50K a month, even between 100K, paid traffic layered on with organic, you will light it up. So hopefully you found massive value in this video. If you want me to go in more depth, I do have a private community that you can go and access where I talk a lot more about this stuff. And I also have a link in the description. You can go book a call with me personally. I'll actually get on the call, not one of my closers. And we can have a chat and see if if we can help you scale it up, because this is what we do. This is what I love to do. And it's more about changing the entrepreneur and the identity within yourself. That's the big thing. But you need to have the right systems. You need to have the right processes in place to be able to scale the business. So if you want to make at least $1 million, $3 million, $5 million a year in profit, you can go book a time to speak with me below. And I look forward to seeing how I can help you do this. And, I've worked with over 1,400 plus people in this space. I've been in this for a decade. And I think I know what I'm talking about. And I've been around a lot of people. I've been around the block. So hopefully you found massive value in this video. Go check out those in the description. And God bless you. And I'll see you in the next one.